Hello there, and welcome to the channel. Today we will be discussing the Porsche Mission X and the facts about it and why I am not the biggest fan of this car. Not that I dislike it, but simply why I wish it could have been done a little bit differently. But before we get into that, let's go over what is the Mission X, what has Porsche said it's going to be, and what it's all about, what their aim is for it, and the design of it, and all that sort of stuff. So, without further ado, here is the Porsche Mission X. It is a brand new design of concept car from Porsche, and they say on their own website that this is taking from the 959, the Carrera GT, and the 918. Not necessarily design cues, but in what it's all about, what the idea of it is birthed from those kinds of cars. And as you can see, actually size-wise, it is closest to the 918. And the whole purpose of this car, they say, is to be the fastest road legal car around the Nordschleife loop of the Nürburgring. And please excuse any mispronunciations of those words. I am doing the best I can, but this car is stated to their goal is for it to have a 1-to-1 power to weight ratio and incredible downforce. Those are the two big things with this car, and I think you can tell from the design with how they drew it up. You can definitely tell just by looking at it that the downforce with this will be potentially quite incredible, and 1-to-1 power to weight ratio. So the part of how they're achieving that is with an extremely lightweight body, and they're using EV architecture. And also what they are doing with said architecture is they are not actually laying out the battery pack across the entire bottom of the car, but rather they are consolidating the battery pack behind the driver to give it a weight distribution closer to a mid-engined car. So that has similar performance. Now, it is said to have a 900 volt, I believe, charging capacity. So it will have that a really high power output, actually much higher than the Taycan Turbo. And again, it's all with the aim of making this a very incredibly fast car around the Nordschleife loop at Nürburgring. As for the design of it, personally, I think it does look quite interesting. I know some people have expressed that they view it looks very similar to a Koenigsegg, and they've kind of criticized it for that a little bit. But all in all, I think I don't get super nitty gritty into well, I don't like this, I don't like that about certain car features unless it's like very on the nose ugly. But I don't think this car is so ugly that it deserves to be trashed on too hard. There may be design cues here and there that can be nitpicked, but I'm not going to do that today. Just all in all, I do think that the design, they definitely got somewhat of a futuristic look to it. Looks fairly cool. The interior is pretty minimalistic. It's probably not the coziest interior. If you're going to be, if this car does become a full production vehicle and it is something that you can buy, I don't know that it's going to be the most comfortable car to ride in just by looking at those seats. It looks very minimalistic, but again, that's how it is with cars like this. They're designed less for comfort and more for performance, and that is entirely okay. That's the whole point of cars like this is you have a performance goal and you are designing your car to meet said performance goal. And as such, the luxuries inside of the cabin can kind of suffer a little bit. Some good examples of this could be, the Alfa Romeo 4C and the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento. Cars like that kind of, you lose some of your creature comforts for the sake of performance, but that's okay. Now, why I'm not the biggest fan of this car is simply with the full EV thing. I feel, the full EV stuff is getting a little bit cliche. But primarily because I know Porsche has been working on a synthetic fuel for ICEs, and it would have been really cool if this could have been a test bed showcasing what they've been developing. Granted, it may not be done yet. We don't know when it's going to be done. We don't know when it's going to be ready, or when they'll start showcasing it. So those are all things that come into play. But that was just my take on it. Then again, though, not that there's anything wrong with it being EV. I understand why they did it. The way you can package it, electric motors are much smaller, and with how I was saying with the battery pack, how it's consolidated behind the driver for that weight distribution, it it frees you up a lot more for design in how you're designing the body. It allows you to trim off a lot of unnecessary fat from the car, and really shrink down that weight and bring it down to levels that you're looking for. It makes it a lot easier to reach that 1-to-1 power to weight ratio that they said they're aiming for. So I completely understand it. And also, instantaneous torque, no need for a transmission, although they did say that it is going to have a transmission or some way method of feeling like you're shifting. So however that's going to look, that's how they're doing it. But ultimately, I do hope at some point to see from Porsche, if they are successful with this synthetic fuel, I would love to see a test bed concept car that really showcases not only that they can make the fuel, but also what it's capable of, and the performance that you can get out of it. So those would be, the really cool things to see. But again, not that there's anything wrong with the Mission X as it is. It's just for me personally, and my take on cars, I would have liked to have seen this other method of doing things. But then again, it's Porsche. It's entirely up to them how they do things, and this is the route that they chose to go with. And so this is just my opinion on it. But anyways, this has been my talk on the Porsche Mission X. I may follow this up with another concept car talk, or with a talk on another new vehicle, potentially either another new Toyota or just some other new car that is for sure going to be a production car coming out very, very soon. And as always, if you like the content that you've been seeing and you would like to continue seeing it, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it, as it helps to push the content out to new viewers. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you continue to enjoy the content that I'm putting out. I know I'm certainly enjoying making this content for you guys, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.